Welcome to LifeForce Technologies. How can I be of assistance? Appointment for some experimental testing and research? Well, you're in the right place. I'll need to know your name and see some ID to go with it. Just scan your ID through the card reader. And I'll need to verify that with a retinal scan. It's part of laboratory security. Gotta make sure your eyes match your ID, matches your name, matches you. Okay, you are provisionally yourself for purposes of this visit. Let's see where you are on the list of candidates for testing today. Ah, yes. Dr. Hayes just called down here a minute or two ago to see if you'd arrived yet. Don't worry about it. He's a little impatient at times. You're still a few minutes ahead of your registered appointment time. Come on in. Dr. Hayes, your 2 o'clock appointment is here. Just arrived in the lobby.
I'll be right down to get them.
He's on his way now. Just take a seat.
Breaking news from high Earth orbit. The founder and director of the world-spanning Hightower Corporation passed away sometime in the early hours of this morning. In a statement issued by the corporation's press secretary, the director's cause of death was indicated as heart failure. This comes as rather a surprise given the director's relatively young age. Hightower Corporation officials have announced a week-long period of mourning in commemoration of the director's passing. Several world leaders have already proposed the creation of a worldwide day of remembrance to honor the director, whose personal work and unprecedented philanthropy over the last 20 years have benefited all mankind. From developing pollution-free power sources to massive-scale cleanup of environmental contamination, Hightower Corporation has been instrumental in reversing the damage humanity has done to its home. We will bring you more details on this developing story as new information becomes available. This has been a breaking news segment brought to you by the Orbital News Networks, a subsidiary of Hightower Media. I'm Agatha Almodovar.
土曜日は九州四国で雨が降り出します。日曜日は広く雨でしょう。日曜日は15度を下回るところが多くなりそうです。気象情報でした。
You're here for the 2 o'clock testing session? I'm Dr. Hayes. I hope you're well rested. This isn't going to be a strenuous procedure, but it will have much better results if your mind is clear and your brain is functioning optimally. If you will follow me, we'll be going to one of the upper floor research labs. The whole procedure will take several hours. I assume that's no problem for you? Took the entire day off, did you? Well then, I'm sure we'll have no scheduling issues that will affect you. I promise you won't be bored, though. The initial setup procedure doesn't take all that long, and then during the long, boring part, when we do all the deep scanning, you'll be checked out. Not asleep, exactly, but not awake either. It's the easiest way to get the sort of activity scans we need for our research. This way, we don't get any additional scanning noise from your brain trying to actively process everything going on around you. Oh, if you need to use the facilities, now is the time. You'll be attached to the scanners for quite a while, so... No? Okay then. Dr. Stella has already been prepping the suite we'll be using for the experiment, so we should be able to get you hooked right up and get things started. There will be a bit of paperwork for you to sign. No big deal, just some final formalities before you undergo the actual experiment. And here we are. Dr. Stella, our 2 o'clock volunteer has arrived.
Bring them in then, and let's get started. Hello there. I'm Dr. Stella. I'm the department head of the cybernetics research team here. If you will please sit down here for a moment. You'll find some papers beside you on your desk. Look them over, sign and date them, please. Just a few release forms, basically a hard copy of the waivers you already signed during your screening process. It's mostly just a bunch of pap we have to have filled out to satisfy the lawyers we keep locked in the basement.
The lawyers are necessary, Dr. Stella. We keep them around in case we run out of volunteer test subjects.
Our project has advanced to the stage where we are testing on human subjects, Dr. Hayes. Lawyers are of no use as test subjects. That's a joke, by the way. Well, maybe only a little. We really don't like using lawyers as test subjects, but we do keep some locked in the basement. Now about that paperwork. Oh, all finished with the forms? Very well. Let's begin. Please step into the next room and lie down on the table.
Now, just relax and let the table adjust itself to the contours of your body. Are you comfortable? Good. This is your life for the next several hours. I'm going to attach a blood pressure cuff to your arm and a bunch of other little clip sensors to various points on your arms and neck. No needles, though. Nothing that invasive. If you have any kind of issue with needles, well, that is not an issue today.
Is that the last of the medical sensors suite? We don't want to forget anything. Oh, and I believe this was part of the screening process initially, but do you have any particular issues with being restrained? Simply for the purpose of the experiment, that is.
We will need to strap you down before we begin, and especially we will need to immobilize your head.
We found we get the best data from immobilized subjects. The less movement during the scan, the more precise the readings. Dr. Hayes, if you will see to the body straps, I will move the head restraints into place.
These straps aren't too tight on you, are they? Good.
These cranial stabilizers may be a little cold to the touch at first. They will warm up in just a moment. Try moving your head now. Does anything feel too tight? That should do then. Dr. Hayes?
All set here. We are ready to begin. I'll start powering up the scanning equipment. Don't let all the noise worry you. We won't be opening up your skull or sucking out your brain or anything. It's all just scanning and imaging gear. We'll be doing several different kinds of imaging scans of your brain in various states of activity. Just try to relax.
If everything is ready, Dr. Hayes, I believe we are ready to start collecting data.
We're all set, Dr. Stella. Time to do some science.
Very good. I'm going to attach a gas feed device over your nose. It will dispense a relaxing cocktail of gases that will help you stay calm and keep you from twitching around inside the restraints. I know it can be hard to stay absolutely still for too long. The gas will help you with that. I even use this mix of gases myself from time to time when I have trouble sleeping. You will like this.
I'll start the experiment timer then. Data logs are recording. All scanning readouts are displaying properly. Beginning initial pass. Just relax and let the machines do their thing. If you find your mind wandering, that's normal. You might even feel like you're falling asleep. You won't actually sleep, but it will feel like it. Everything we're going to do is perfectly safe. I tested some of this equipment on myself once, just to make absolutely sure of it.
You mean you fell asleep on the contour table, Dr. Hayes?
Now look, I'd been working for 30 hours straight that day. I needed a nap. All jesting aside, though, the scans are looking good. Imagers are already putting together a basic map of the subject's neural structure.
Activating secondary scanning unit. We'll superimpose the data from this one and compare the mapping results. A perfect match. 100%. Both scanners are getting exactly the same data.
Shall I activate the tertiary scanners as well?
Not just yet. Wait until the next scanning pass is complete. I want to make sure there's no interference. Once we have all the scanners calibrated and running in sync, we can begin attaching the digital construct apparatus.
Still getting excellent data feeds from all scanners, Dr. Stella. All feeds into the neuroconstruct device are running at the highest possible resolution. Subject's brain activity is unchanged. Readouts are showing no signs of any sort of distress or unusual activity. Heart rate, breathing, blood pressure, and oxygen saturation are all at normal levels. Everything looks clean and steady. You want to do lunch now?
What a splendid idea. I'll call one of the interns in and have them place an order. How does something from Kaiju Burger sound?
Never ate there before. Always wanted to, though. Is it any good?
That's a matter of personal taste and preference. All I can say is to steer away from the blubber nuggets.
Blubber... what? That sounds questionable. You didn't... did you?
Mistakes were made. You think we have time for a game of chess?
Nah. At least not for a really good game. The scanning process is just over half done already. We could try for a quicker game, but I'd probably be distracted and play poorly.
Too bad. How's our volunteer doing?
No change. All readouts showing normal. They're conscious, but not really registering anything on a conscious level. Neural structure simulations are developing nicely.
Good. digital construct assembly is at 64%. I'm not sure this should be taking so long.
The middle stretch of the scan went slowly with the last 2 scanning procedures as well, Dr. Stella. I think that may simply be a quirk of the process.
We will see about that. Digital construct simulation is at 92%. I don't want to be the one to jinx this, Dr. Hayes, but I believe this may be the best scanning subject we've had so far. No difficulties whatsoever in the scanning process, aside from how dreadfully long it's taking. Every portion of the digital construct is mapping perfectly.
If the rest of the scanning process goes through with no hitches, I think we might have the ideal construct for continued experimentation.
Let us not count our pigeons before they are hatched, Dr. Hayes. That sounds wrong. What is it that one is not supposed to count?
Chickens, I think. Don't count your chickens before they're hatched. Yes, it's chickens. Dr. Stella? Dr. Stella?
No more blubber nuggets. Oh. Sorry, did I nod off?
Yes, Doctor. About 20 minutes ago. The neural scanning process is complete. The construct is in standby mode, but the readouts indicate that it's a perfect match to the volunteer's scanning data. We did it, Dr. Stella. We got a perfect, complete neural scan.
Ah, finally. How is the volunteer doing?
Still checked out under the gas cocktail. I'll turn that off and set them up with a spray injection to help them metabolize the last of it. They'll be out for maybe an hour, and then they'll be up and walking again.
Is the digital construct ready to be disconnected?
Should be. Scans complete, neural integrations complete. All you'll have to do is disconnect the power cords and the data input leads. There are duplicates at my workstation in the cybernetics lab, so you won't need to wrestle with an armload of cables. Good thing, too. That construct is pretty heavy for something the size of a shoebox.
Have one of the night interns come up to see the volunteer and make sure they're properly discharged. And then we can relocate to the laboratory and get set up for tomorrow's experiments. And after everything is in place, I have a bottle of champagne in my office against this very occasion. We will drink to the success of the project. Then I need sleep. I've been up for 2 days straight with just this one nap.
I'll be as quick as I can. Johnson, send one of the night shift interns up to Research Lab 710. We have a test subject who's going to need a bit of tending before they wake up.
Right away, Dr. Hayes.
The construct is fully set up, Dr. Stella. Audio and visual peripherals are functioning normally. Monitoring programs are running, and the digital neural construct is in active mode. Oh, and I added a labeling tag to both the external casing and the programming codes. This construct unit is now registered as Subject 4 Delta.
Very good. Let's begin our experiments. Good morning, Subject 4 Delta. We are going to be conducting a lengthy series of experiments on you. This digital replication of your memories and consciousness is going to become the model for a new generation of artificial intelligence. Oh, god damn it, not this again. Why do they always start off screaming? Dr. Hayes, I want you to reset the construct program if they don't cut that shit out.
Now, hold on just a second, Dr. Stella. Subject 4 Delta. There's no need to scream like that. I know what you're experiencing seems weird and frightening. You're not dead. We haven't done anything to you. Well, the you that you were yesterday. That is someone else now. That person left the research laboratory last night and went home. They're moving on with their life. You're just a digital copy of their consciousness. Memories and active cognitive functions, but you're just a simulation. You don't have a body anymore. You exist entirely within a piece of electronic hardware in a lab. I know it sounds crazy, horrible even, but that's how we have to go about this. There's no other way we can do the research we have to do. So we do what we must in the name of science. Sometimes we have to get our hands a little dirty. Sometimes it's the soul that ends up feeling dirty instead. Now, please, for all our sakes, yours included, please, just cooperate with us, and this entire process will be so much easier for all involved.
If you cannot conduct yourself in a calm and rational fashion, we will be forced to terminate this current iteration of your consciousness and start over fresh. We can do that, you know. You're a digital personality construct. We can reset you to the initial memory state in which the construct became active. Now, will you cooperate? More screaming. Dr. Hayes, please reset the construct and begin running a new iteration.
Yes, Dr. Stella. This is going to be a long